Trike conversions have always been popular for motorcycles. It's really hard to get style into this three-wheel design, and I'm just gonna push my skills and try to make it happen. The whole thing I'm gonna try to do is build a trike that's badass. The problem I'm having with all the trikes I see is it just looks like a pile of stuff. It wasn't forethought. It just looks like they took a motorcycle front and stuck a car on the back. And I'm just trying to move through that. I want it to look like a motorcycle. My whole gig with the swap meet shopping is really just looking for anything cool. I'm not dead set in what I want to build, so I just might find the thing that sets the tone. Looking around this swap meet, I'm thinking handlebars, seats, gas tank. If I can find some existing stuff from the 60s, it's gonna make my job a lot easier. I'd rather not have to make everything. If I can find it at the swap meet, then it's just way more progress. I'm walking away from here with a lot of cool ideas. There's still haven't found the right parts yet. Chopper Fest is a great show. I got a bunch of cool ideas. After seeing a few trikes out there, I think there's room for improvement. I have an engine from a '79 Honda Goldwing. It's a motorcycle motor and transmission. I want to mate it to a car rear end. My friend Don, he's got all kinds of cars and trucks. The last time I was over there, I remember seeing a rear end from an El Camino. I think they'll be perfect for this trike. Yeah, this would be perfect. I'll just clean this up and bring it home. Trying to get this trike built in 2 weeks. There's a big bike show coming up. I want to bring this thing there. 2 weeks for this project is really fast. I've been thinking it through in my head. I got a lot of plans. I think it can happen. Good as new. The whole concept with this bike is giant rear tires, long extended forks, crazy paint job. Total 60s, 70s Ed Roth style trike. Like crazy cartoon character just jamming down the highway, outlaw stuff. Trying to use parts that already exist, it's easy in some ways, but in other ways it's more difficult. They weren't designed to work together, but you know they do work on their own. For me, the process is having an initial idea and then just building most of it just kind of on the fly. So finding something that exists and modifying other pieces to work around that idea is the quickest way to do it for me. I need to take this whole axle apart so I can narrow it. It's got offset differential. I really want to make the thing as narrow as possible, so I'm gonna have to shorten the axles individually. I want the tires real close, right up next to you where you're sitting. The coolest thing about the motor and rear axle on this is it's a motorcycle engine coupled with a car rear end. That's cool. The issue I'm facing is that the output shaft of the transmission is about 4 inches off center. I guess what I'm gonna have to do is narrow one side of the rear axle more than the other. I think the easiest way for me to figure this out is just mock it up with the tires and just see how narrow I can get it. This is the real deal. OG 1970s Krager SS. It just fits the whole 70s thing I'm doing. You can see how wide this thing is. It's just, I want something very compact. The thing I have to figure out at this point is I have my direct center where the two axles at this point meet dead center. This differential is gonna move over about 4 1/4 inches. So I think what I'm gonna do is make this axle 6 inches narrower than this one. Through all my calculations, it says that that is correct. I think something like this. That's considerably narrower. So you see the reason now, it's pretty apparent why I put these little legs on here, because they're all still at the same height. I can just move it, re-weld it. The axle housing looks perfect. It's got different length axles, it's offset a bit. I think it's gonna work. I narrowed the housing to what I needed. This bike has an offset differential, so I just ordered a couple axles that were machined to fit. So you can see, considerably shorter than the originals. This is the test fit. Hopefully it's good. It actually fits. Number 2. Well, I'll be. It actually works. Wow, I mean, it works. It totally works. I'm always hesitant to let stuff leave the shop, but the machine shop did it perfect. It looks great. It's gonna roll. This rear U-joint matches the rear axle, so that's a GM part. And I just happen to have this old U-joint from a 49 Ford laying around. So I welded them together so that it's like a miniature drive shaft. The thing about the U-joints is the only way I'm really gonna know if it works is after it's done. The shakedown run, that's what's gonna tell the tale. The way that I've been building things, it's really found objects. It's used parts, old stuff, things that really have no purpose being together. I could just buy a motor and transmission and rear axle from a supplier. They sell trike kits all day long. For me, the turn on is trying to get this thing together with all these unique parts that don't go together. I'm gonna go visit my friend Gary. He's an old school biker. I know he's got what I need.
I've been in this building here for 36 years, and he mentioned something about what he was doing and on a bike, and I said, wait a minute, I think I have something buried here that you could possibly use.
Long time no see, sir. Best thing about having friends like Gary is he's been around forever. He was doing the thing when this was popular, so I know he's got what I need. I'm coming to steal the forks I've been hounding you for 10 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
I spy. Here they are.
Aha.
Yeah, I was going to do a project with them, and I never got around to it. And no sense of letting them just die.
Right on. They're definitely old and used, but they got good grease in them. These are perfect, man.
I've reached a point in age where, you know, I got to start cleaning some of this stuff out of here. You can collect only so much, and then you go, what are you ever going to use it? No. The Z-bars?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are a wall hanger.
Right. These are the real deal. These are old school. These parts are great. I just need one more thing. I think these are perfect. I built this thing like 20 years ago. It usually sits in a corner, but sometimes I just ride it around, you know? It helps me think. It's really all the same thing. I mean, I'm just trying to get into some kind of a groove, get the feeling, and move forward. This is a creative project. There's no blueprints. The whole deal with the mock-up is that I could see it three-dimensionally. It's really hard for me to sketch something, but seeing it on the table, all laid out, I know what I'm looking at. The whole concept with the mock-up is being able to make changes. It's really hard to see what it's going to look like until all the pieces are in place. It allows me to adjust the wheelbase, move the handlebars, do my hair, you know, whatever it takes to make it right. Yeah, this is a little too low and stretched out. I'm definitely going to bring the tire in and the handlebars up. This is just the flavor I'm looking for. It's got that 70s chopper look. Thing totally came to life. I mean, it's still just sitting there on the table, but I'm already cruising on the highway. This bike has a solid rear end. It's a rigid, it has no rear suspension. I need a comfortable seat. I was looking around for seats, motorcycle seats, horse saddles, wheelbarrows, anything.
That would almost work. Just upholster the whole thing.
No ordinary seat's gonna fly for this. It's gotta be something really cool. That's not the seat. It's hard to know what this seat's gonna be, but I want something unique. It could be anywhere. People sit on a lot of stuff. Seats are around here somewhere. Just gotta find them. You know, it just occurred to me, I've been sitting, working for 10 years, 8 hours a day on this freaking work seat. I think it's perfect. I want the seat to be right on the axle. As soon as I put it in place, I was like, wow, it's low back, really wide. It's perfect. I'm gonna put the seat right on the rear axle, so I'm gonna bend a hoop and set the seat. That way I can sit on the axle, put my hands on the bars, and decide where they should be. I'm using this 2-inch round tube for the seat support. I'm building the whole frame out of this. It's 1/8-inch wall, it's super strong. I'm just gonna twist it up and make my own frame. So I made these 2 little saddles out of a 3/4-inch square tube. They're gonna sit right on there, and that should be plenty secure. This is what I'm looking for. Kind of low, kind of forward. That way with the rigid rear axle, you know, you're not leaning back and it's not beating up your back. It's gonna be a pretty rough ride. So like this, at least you got your own little internal spring working. Wind in my hair, bugs in my teeth. Here we go. I'm just working through getting this frame welded up. I really want to spend my time on the bodywork and the gas tank. You're not gonna see the frame at all. It's not a feature, it's just a structural element. It's got a rigid rear end. It has no suspension in the back. So the only thing that's gonna give is the headset, the Springer forks. There's no shocks, so it's gotta be a strong frame. I think I'm gonna set up the top tube in the frame so that the gas tank sits above it. Like you see the Frisco style choppers with the gas tank above the frame. I kinda wanna reflect on that. Most times you'll see like a straight backbone that comes through straight up into the headset. I put a little bend in it because I don't want a big like tunnel through the gas tank. I want to put as much fuel in here as possible. Because it's going to be a coffin tank, I was thinking it would just follow the line of this bend. You'd have a big open shape that held a lot of fuel. So this is the look I'm going for. You see the 2-inch tube backbone, 1.5-inch uprights, and then I'm putting a big gusset around through the headset. I'll weld it in all the way around so it's big, chunky gusset holding the headset in place. The whole idea of the trike, it goes back to when I was a kid. I mean, all the cool kids in the neighborhood, they had big wheels. Everything I build with these far out proportions, it all goes back to that. When I grow up, I'm gonna have the craziest freaking trike or the wildest hot rod ever. Coffin gas tank is iconic. Late 60s, 70s, chopper stuff. I want to build a coffin tank just like I saw in the magazines. So this is the start to the gas tank. Just laying out a couple quick measurements of what I want it to be. At this point, I'm just eyeballing it. You know, I'm putting out a center line, I'm setting up the top dimension of the tank, and I'm just gonna put it in the sheet metal brake and fold it, see how it looks. The main reason for using cardboard or hard paper is that you can create a 3-dimensional mock-up of what you're building. It's way cooler than some computer-generated image. That's pretty cool. That'll work. What I'm building is a take on this classic coffin tank, they call it. Has flat sides, kind of faceted, sort of like a diamond. or like a coffin. The coffin tanks are pretty basic because they're just flat panels bent on a sheet metal brake. It's pretty simple. No English wheel, no special hammers. You just bend flat panels and weld them together. See what the hem edge does? Makes a really rigid end to weld on. Just as an example, when they're welding together, you'll have two of these heavy edges folded over double. You can see how if I bend it, it's going to interfere with the next panel. So I got to clamp these to the table and fold them with a hammer. This is pretty cool because it shows that you don't really need all the fancy tools to do this type of thing. This is the last bend. This type of fabrication really reflects everything I've been doing, is just try to figure it out and make it happen. I've never had the luxury of so many fancy tools. Sometimes you just gotta go backwards, like this. A couple pieces of tube and a couple clamps. Done. This type of gas tank's kind of old school, no special forming, it's all flat panels. The key here is making sure it's all welded solid. If the welds aren't good, it's gonna leak. If it leaks, you're on fire. That's no good. I like to use the MIG welder to spot weld all the panels together. It's really quick to mock it up with the MIG. Later I can TIG weld it and then it'll be liquid tight. Looks good. Oh yes. Starting to look like a motorcycle. Yeah. See, the idea is if you break down, you can just roll home. It's pretty easy. The next step is to create these little inner fender wells. Obviously, I don't want to be rubbing on those things. It's tight. Keep the pants off the tires. Just a little extra guard. I'm always open to using existing parts. Sometimes it brings you fresh ideas. Just thinking about what's around. My friend Bill's got a set of tractor fenders, and they might be perfect for this. I got some pretty cool air shears. Eastwood sent them over. They work perfect. This is one of those instances where you realize you can never have too many clamps. You can see it swings down and then out and then back around. And it's all one panel. It's gonna be a lot easier when it comes to bodywork because there's no welded seams. Some people may cut it on the highs and lows, but I just swung it right around. In the end, I'm gonna paint these fenders so they look like some kind of a carnival freak show. I want it to look like you're locked in on some kind of a wild ride. Right. It's getting closer. The whole idea with the fenders, you can see now, your legs ain't gonna rub. It's perfect. You got just enough to keep you off of that. You still got your wheelchair action. It's pretty cool. Something about the bars that were on the forks, they just looked a little too small proportionally in relation to the rear tires especially. I just want the bars to be a little bit more forward and not so down in the wrists. I want them kind of straight out. I feel like with those giant back tires, the handlebars should be a little beefier. So I'm gonna make them out of this 1.5 inch round. See on the top of the bars how they come backwards towards the rider. I don't want that much angle. I want them to be a little bit more forward. I want a little bit of pullback, so I'm just gonna put this piece of bar stock under it. And I'll set up the angles like so. And that should be good. Just kind of winging it, whatever looks good. If they don't look good, I'll make another set. How's that sound? Right now, I'm just trying to make sure that they're both even. You don't want one limp arm, right? So I'm keeping these angles parallel, straight through, and then they're the same distance off the table. And that's all there is to it. Another issue with the forks that were on the bars was the risers. I thought they looked a little bit too spread out. I wanted something right down on the headset so that the springs really showed. These are the risers. They're gonna weld on the bottom of the handlebars. Instead of bolting on like those, it'll be a clean, clean look. See, I welded the little nut inside. Then there's the bottom plate. Makes it very, very strong. Feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. Born to be mild. The bike's really coming together. It's got the flavor. The handlebars were like the final touch with the fabrication. It's on. Now that the fabrication's done, I'm really starting to think about some crazy paint job ideas. But even that's getting ahead of myself. I need to make sure this motor runs. It's been sitting around for a while, and I hope it still works. This build's coming along great. The next big thing I gotta deal with is the engine. So I'm gonna try to adapt a Volkswagen carburetor to this Honda engine. I had this thing laying around, I just put a rebuild kit in it. Aside from my personal belief that everything should have a bit of Volkswagen in it, they're basically the same shape engines. A VW is a flat 4 boxer motor. The Honda Goldwing's the same thing. From the factory, the bike came with 4 independent carburetors with a big junction box that was the air cleaner. It was really well designed for maximum performance, but they're gone. In looking at the Volkswagen motors, they have a center carburetor with a long runner connecting both cylinder banks, and then they have a short splitter like on the dual port manifolds. It seems that they tried to make this as even and short as possible. So I'm gonna try to replicate that. Bought these U-bends, and of course they're not the right radius. They don't match from cylinder to cylinder. So the first step is to cut them so that they fit the existing intake from the Honda. The Honda motor and a Volkswagen motor, this style, are pretty similar. I don't see why this intake wouldn't work. Those 2 half circles you see coming out of the castings will get welded together, and then there'll be a port cut on the inside edge of each of them where the crossover tube mounts. Next, I'm gonna make a tube that crosses over the engine. After that, just make a riser for the carburetor and weld a base plate on. I'm using the same size tube and making a cross member that goes left to right on the engine. It'll look kind of like a dog bone, but I'll put it upright in the center of that holds the carburetor. It's gonna go 10,000 miles per hour. It's amazing. This intake is just a shot in the dark. It's my best guess, just like everything else I build. I'm just winging it. Found this cool little air cleaner. It's more just like a wire screen, but I modified the end of it so that it fits the VW carb. Now you understand why the frame has that strange shape in the front. See, that sits just like that. Pretty slick. So all I need to do now is just make a tube that goes up and holds the carb. Like most things, best laid plans never seem to come to fruition that easy. This isn't gonna work at all. I didn't take into consideration the way the throttle linkage is gonna hit the manifold. Pretty much married to the idea of the intake being this shape. I gotta come up with a way to make this work. I think I'm just gonna make a curved tube that sets the carb a little bit forward. I had intended it for it to be right on top of the intake, but it's gonna be a little bit offset. Yeah, the motor's rigid mounted, it's not gonna shake, so the carb won't hit the frame. It's all good. This bike is bitchin'. I'm really stoked. I mean, it totally works. It feels good, it's got plenty of power. I couldn't have done it better myself. It's perfect. If you just want to have fun, enjoy something, goof off, this is the bike for you. The whole thing with this is to look like a giant toy. It looks like a big wheel. It's one thing to think about a project, but to see it right there, it's great. It's what I live for. My whole thing is just trying to push it, trying to push the boundaries. It's easy to make something that's already cool. I want to do something new. Paint's really kind of a loose interpretation of like a psychedelic 60s chopper kind of thing. You know, it's got the pearlies and the flakes and stuff. I just thought it fit. I mean, I think it works really good with the bike. You can't go wrong with an octopus gas cap, and that's like next level. It's a squeaky toy, it was a dog chew. It looked like a gas cap. The whole rear of the bike was really just something to take your eyes away from the radiator. It's a really simple setup. It's just a mesh screen, covers the radiator. There's 6 exhaust tips, 3 on each side, some cool, old school British taillights, and that's it, bodywork. It's a liquid cool bike, so I really just tried to make it look like a royal throne. That was the chopper vibe. Throne on wheels, and hey, there it is. I just finished the trike. I brought it out here to the Born Free show to reveal it, and it's on. Born Free show was the perfect venue to take this to. It's just mellow, good vibes, great show. I feel like this show really embodies that 60s, 70s hand-built bike vibe. You see a lot of really long bikes, thin tires, everything that was happening before the mass production.
I have a trike myself, a chopper trike Ironhead. And this one here is totally hand-built. It's one of a kind, totally unique. Whoever put this together knew what they wanted as opposed to anything else. I mean, you're not going to see 2 of them. And we're looking at the drive shaft on this going to the rear end axle. Just totally unique.
I've always built Japanese bikes, and I noticed this had an old Goldwing motor in it. That's from the same era as the bikes I build, so I came over and took a look at it. I like all the angles, you know. I like a style of bike called a digger, and they had angled tanks like that, you know, like mid-70s sci-fi type of stuff. And I noticed that before I even realized it had the Japanese motor in it. Once I saw the Goldwing, that just topped it off. Didn't notice it until we stood here, but it's got a seat off a lawnmower on it, you know, and it's perfect. Nobody would ever guess, but I mean, he did the same thing, just home built different ideas, and it works perfectly.
The whole thing behind what I'm doing is it is meant to be displayed. It's meant to be exhibited, thrown out there for everybody.
Pretty sick. You can make a Honda Goldwing look cool.
And a badass trike that's like super short. I don't think it probably pops wheelies like no other.
A lot of ingenuity in it, very clean.
The reason I wanted to build this trike in this 70s style is because I guess the 70s style bike was a little more experimental, it's more creative, and I just like that aspect of it.
It's kind of like the weirder it is, the more it sticks out. So.
Yep, yeah, more people like it.
It's hard to describe exactly why I need to do this, and that really is the proper word. I need to do this. As I understand it, you only live once, and for whatever reason, I need to build these things. Being at a show like this, the Born Free, it really turns you on. No other way to put it. These guys have it nailed. It really makes me want to build something else. The next thing I build is really defined by what's laying in the scrap pile. That's how this thing was built. My friend Mark, he's a great client. I've done a bunch of projects with him. The last project Mark brought down was a Henry J. He says he's got something newer and wilder than anything we've tried so far.
You know, I'm very fortunate to be one of Ian's clientele. I like Ian just to let his creativity take over the project because however radical it becomes, the better it is. Love your weather down here, man. This is gorgeous.
Came down from Canada, and he's into the wild stuff. Definitely not into the restoration aspect of things, and that's right up my alley.
I can show you this before we actually show you the project to be. Originally, this whole idea came about by a drawing, and he's the only one that I can think of that could actually pull this one off.
He said it was a Volkswagen.
It's a Volkswagen.
Shows me this drawing of this pretty wild cartoon hot rod. I'm all on board. So it's like a front engine Volkswagen bus hot rod thing. Just like the Ed Roth monster cars, this is right in that vein. It's just a new style on it. And I think pushing it forward is always really cool. So I was excited to see what Mark had in the trailer.
This isn't like the last thing I brought you. Okay. It's in a little more disrepair.
It's a mighty short Volkswagen you got there. It was not what I expected. Here come the clowns. Must have been a rare factory option. Mark pulls out this shortened VW bus and just a ton of other random parts from the trailer.
The drivetrain on this thing is, it's out of a 1965 AMC Rambler. You know, very unique, you know, you don't find them anywhere.
A fine piece of machinery. This engine looks pretty rough, but Mark says it's a runner. I don't mind seeing a crusty old engine. It's all about what's happening inside. I know we can clean and paint it. Well, somebody stepped the chassis down pretty good.
This came off a 34 Plymouth rat rod that I had bought. So I thought, well, let's throw AMC running gear in a Plymouth frame, and then now we're gonna put a Volkswagen body on it. You know, let's mix up all of.
I like having clients that are all on board. You know, they think I can accomplish anything. Unfortunately for me, the anything gets wilder and wilder. The big challenge is to make it look like the drawing. The stuff Mark's pulled out of the truck looks nothing like what we're going for. So according to our schematic, there's a large hole burrowed straight through the center of the donor vehicle and then is inserted up to the valve covers on the engine. Let's try that. I'm always really excited about a project for the first few days because that's when all the inspired stuff happens. The fun part is just the possibilities of it. You know, at this point, it's just a blank canvas and I can go in any direction I want. That's really the spice of the whole project, is figuring out what you're gonna do. This drawing is done by an artist named Johnny Jalopy. He does a lot of really far out car illustrations that exaggerate reality. So my challenge is to take these proportions and the flavor of his drawing and transfer it into three-dimensional steel. The whole thing in starting off is just getting the parts physically on the floor, see what their dimensions are. I have a feeling this project is going to be all about proportion, and there's nothing resembling typical car proportions that I could see so far. See already, we're off. See, this is showing a short wheelbase, the tire intersecting the corner of that door. So you can see the tire should be as tall as that handle and come way forward. Mark brought this set of white wall tires. A tall, skinny white wall would be the best option, and they're just really hard to find. Mark has these two, and I'm gonna try to make them work. What I'm trying to do is make this tire look as big as possible, and the only way I'm gonna get that is making that body smaller. Well, it's apparent this whole thing just got way more involved than I first considered. By looking at the drawing, I can tell that the nose doesn't look anything like it. The doors are way out of proportion. The A-pillars are wrong. The roof is wrong. So really all I'm seeing using as a starting point is like a bare skeleton. I'm gonna cut it long ways, short ways, sideways, up ways, and down ways. Well, the whole thing with this chassis is it's set up as like a T-bucket hot rod. You know, it's a short wheelbase, big engine, big tires. That's the look. My challenge is to take this utility vehicle and somehow morph it into this cool hot rod shape. If you ever sat in an early model pickup truck, 34 Ford for instance, they're miniature. So this is just getting closer to those proportions. I basically just need to shorten the door by a foot. Any moving part, once you start sectioning, it starts to get a little sketchy. I chose to leave all the latching mechanisms and the hinge mechanism in place. That way I had a 3-point reference, 2 hinges and 1 latch. By leaving all the factory components in place, it's just a huge time saver. All I did was cut through the sheet metal and put it back together. I think I'm onto something. This is looking good. I like the proportions of the lower half of the body, but there's really no other way to go about this other than to recreate an entire new top of the car. We're not out of the woods yet, man. This is a good start. Before I get carried away with the body design, I need to build a chassis to support it. In order to get this frame squared up, I put it up on the table, cut it apart. I got it all squared up, jigged it on the table, started from the front, and just connected it all the way through. Using the dimensions from the mock-up, I moved the engine and the suspension brackets just to get them as far forward as possible. I wanted this thing to be low. So I Z'd the chassis and set it up to be super strong. In order to achieve this really short wheelbase, I took the drive shaft to a machine shop and had it splined, 22 inches shorter. With the chassis done, I'm finally where I want to be, so I can focus more on the creative part of the build. I'm gonna put this body on and see what's up. What do you think, Hellhound? Do you have anything to say? Huh? I was looking at only portions of the drawing, and I think I got those details nailed. The next step is to figure out exactly how long the rear of the bed's gonna be. So I'm gonna bring in the 2 quarter panels and mock those up. Wait a second. This quarter panel's in really bad shape. Look at all this body filler. You start cutting into old stuff and you see everybody else's modifications and repairs. The old Bondo bucket. That's the thing, it's all delaminating. Look at this. What this is an old repair. Somebody in their grand wisdom decided to rivet the panel back together after either rust or collision, and then used a metallized filler in place of a proper welding job. So this whole quarter You're pulling the paint off of a project, seeing what's beneath, you know there's gonna be body filler. It's typical old car stuff. It's really a bummer when you see rivets, cancer, really bad body panels, so this is a pretty big curveball. The driver's side turned out to be really good. There's a little filler through here, but this one was never creamed. That's totally usable. The plot thickens. I'm gonna put this good quarter panel on and see how it looks. It's all about moving forward. You can take that to the bank. I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at that, and I'm very happy with it. His picture shows the bed being a little bit bigger, but I think this nails it. The shorter bed makes the wheel look bigger, and that's a win. The remedy here is to build the vehicle with this nasty quarter panel. The last thing is replace it. All right, so today's adventure, that does not look like that, so I'm going to make it. How's that sound? The drawing shows an earlier split window. We've got a later bay window bus. I want to make this look just like the drawing, so I have to build a whole new windshield frame and dashboard. I just took 2 pieces of sheet metal, put them in the brake, and created this flange that the window glass will attach to via a rubber gasket. Next, I made some cardboard templates that'll represent the glass. Then, I built the top and center of the frame. The roof on the drawing is a super unique shape, and I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen. When I was at the VW car show, I was looking at a bug roof from the back, and it just gave me an idea. I have one of these domes, and it's just way more pronounced than the bus roof. If you really look at the Beetle, you'll see that towards the windshield, it flattens out. It's the most curvy right above the back window. So I cut the rear portion of the roof off and stuck it on here backwards, and it worked perfect. What's not to like about that? That's it. See, his drawing has a really nose-down attitude. You don't even care. This is a breakthrough. This is a moment. The roof still needs a lot of work, but just to get this dome and put it in place is a big breakthrough. That's the proportion. I'm using this round tube to create the front of the visor on the roof, and this is going to represent a drip rail all the way around the perimeter. Just slapping a piece of sheet metal on, looks pretty loose, ragged, so this gives the sheet metal a definite formed edge. No sharp metal, nice rounded edge, and it's strong. Now that I see this, I am genuinely impressed. It looks great. Taking all the leftover pieces of the car and just refitting them in a way that the hinge mechanism will work and the rear hatch will open and close smoothly. It's just way smaller. So, you want to ride this thing, don't you? I know I do. That opens, you got your breeze. There's room to cruise, man. It's gonna totally work. So, the second part of this is the lower hatch. I'm gonna leave the center. It's twice as much welding. I'm gonna put both sides inward. This is gonna be a tough one to let go. This is coming out cool. Look at it, it's a miniature Volkswagen. It's tiny, it's great. With the structure of the lower portion of the cab in place, now I can finish the roof off. The roof is a pretty complex shape, and I think this will be the most challenging part of the whole build. So I'm gonna lead off this restructuring of it by creating the door tops. The whole idea here is creating a nice clean door gap straight through, as well as adding support. In the end, this is all about the exterior look of the thing. You just gotta look kind of like a production car. So I'm gonna have to come in with a triangulated patch to create that radius evenly to the drip rail through here somewhere. Just like with the rest of the project, I've got my blinders on. You know, I'm working through one portion at a time, nailing that and moving on. So I get this drip edge finished and realize the part I wasn't looking at is this internal bracing. The location of this rear arch is just all wrong. You know, his drawing is pretty slick. I'm just trying to keep that vibe and bring it all the way around to the parts you don't see in the drawing. Putting this bug roof on backwards, nailed it. It looks just like the drawing, but I want to make sure that the slope curves gracefully down into the rear of the cab. I don't think that thing's doing anything. I think I can sawzall that right off. Famous last words. If I set this up with a big, tall, 90-degree rear panel, it's just gonna look weird. It's about being efficient at this point. I could always cut way too much and patch back in, just trying to make one join, one seam across the top of the roof. And I think it's time for the old envisioning tool. Critical element in every build is the envisioning tool. You know, I don't know who else uses one of these, but I've got a number of them. To get this roof right, I'm gonna have to just focus. So you see, anything could happen with this roof line. So if that's coming up like that, I got my 2 marks. Yeah, see, that's kind of baseball hat style right there. The whole purpose with this technique is to just see how the roof line is gonna flow out. With the original structure in place, it was gonna look like a big hunchback. What I'm trying to do is just take this curve and make it flow gracefully right into the visor over the windshield. The whole thing about this roof and my enjoyment of it, I guess you could say, is just that I'm trying to figure it out as I go along. No preconceptions, just letting the metal tell me where to go. Thought I was gonna use this piece of the old van roof, but it was a much, it's a lot less of a radius than I had anticipated. See, they put this little ridge and then the roof really just flattened out. I need to carry that up all the way to here. I was gonna make one. So the rear portion of the roof is gonna be scratch built. I'm gonna use the slip roller, set it up with a curve, just kind of hand form it into shape and weld it on. Hey look, it's gonna work. So to tie together the whole rear of the roof, it was the same story as the front, just a piece of round tube, just made 2 corners and then a center section. Each time I join the tube, I'm putting a little sleeve inside. Just helps you line everything up, tack it in place, and just move around the perimeter of the roof. This roof's got to be symmetrical, so I'm just starting with the center portion to get that arch going over the top. The left and right quarters are going to have to be made independently. It's a really complex shape on each side, and keeping them symmetrical is the goal. This is like a giant puzzle, you know, and you don't realize what the puzzle looks like until the pieces are mostly into place, and you still got some loose holes to fill in. Sometimes my dyslexia comes into play pretty well. These rear quarters are pretty complex. I'm thinking it's gonna be the easiest way is to just create a series of triangular shapes, tack them together, and then hammer and dolly them into shape. So this metalwork looks pretty raw. It's got a lot of welds. That's just characteristic of this fast-paced work I'm doing. Yeah, actually from this view, that's the drawing. It's totally got the feel of it. The thing that did it was the raking of that drip rail. No car does that. Only a drawing does that. You can see he's showing a really high crown over the whole thing. I thought I was losing it in the rear area, and it did come down a bit, but it's still pretty hyper exaggerated. I got this Cruise Night blue metallic from Eastwood, and I added some blue metal flake on top of it. I want to finish the dashboard and paint it first, just to see how it looks. This dashboard is just one hurdle along the way. This is a marathon. Seeing the color rendering of the car really made me want to make this paint job nice. The whole idea with a finished paint job is that it's mirror straight. The easiest spots to pick out are your long, flat panels. Second thing is all your edges is just trying to get these lines razor straight. This portion of the process is really something that I've been fixated on because it takes the metalwork to the whole next level. You can do great metalwork and everything, but it's always gonna need this type of finish. The better metalwork you do, the less filler you're gonna need. I got this 3M Platinum Plus body filler and it lays out like nothing I've ever used. It's totally smooth, there's no air bubbles in it, and it sands really easy. Once I got the bodywork done, I was ready to move on to paint it. In an effort to stay true to the drawing, I had a guy who does stickers scan this into his machine and cut them out on his vinyl sticker cutter thinger. The whole thing with this project is proportion. If I just stuck a generic number 5 on the side, it wouldn't look like the drawing. So just like the rest of it, I'm gonna try to tailor this graphic on the door so that it fits the proportion of the vehicle, and I think that's just gonna nail it. I'm gonna use this template and make a stencil to paint the graphic on the car. It's basically a 3-color design, so I need to mask it off for that. I've been talking back and forth with Johnny all throughout the progress of this. When he sent me the color drawing of this thing, I could tell he's really pumped.
I could never imagine anybody taking a drawing of mine and building it in real life. Of course, it's a dream. You know, those are the things you hear of the legends did that stuff. You know, the Ross, the Barris, you know, guys like that. Those are guys that took creation from a paper and made him a moving machine that turned into these entities on their own. When I first heard about it, one of my friends on Facebook had messaged me that he saw on Ian's page a post with a picture of my drawing saying, you gotta give the people what they want.
I sent Johnny a message, told him, hey, we're gonna build this thing. What do you think?
And at that moment I was like, really? Are you kidding me? Cheesy to say a dream come true kind of thing, but you know, it is, you know, that's.
I'm glad that Johnny's on board. Super excited. It makes me really want to do this thing right, get all the details in order. With the metal work, you're creeping up on an end result, but the paint work, you don't realize it until you peel back the wrapper. The whole thing with paint work is it's all setup time. Just like with the block sanding, this graphic takes a ton of time to lay out with the tape work. You don't realize the reward until you peel back the tape, so it's all prep in any paint job. That looks great. The 5 is definitely bigger than the original one, and it looks like the drawing. I'm stoked. Getting this tape peeled back, I could see that all the work I did with the razor blade and fastening the tape to the door came out with a really good result. Yeah, look at that. Looks like a giant cartoon. Seeing this thing come from just a pile of parts to where it's progressed to now makes me just want to keep on pushing, make this thing into a full custom show car.
I kind of put a little pressure on Ian when I was over there. I said, okay, I understand about the engine problem. I'm gonna take responsibility for that. I'm gonna get you a new one, and I'm gonna personally drive down there and bring it to you.
Is that record time or what?
Oh, I tell you, man, how you doing?
This guy surprises me. Flies in to Canada, he gets in the truck and drives down to Los Angeles. It's pretty ambitious. I guess you're in a rush.
Oh, man, it was get her done and get her down here for you.
Nice.
I'm pretty excited to show them what we got and to see the body in real life.
Now, you ready for some bling? I got a little bling for you.
Ah, that'll work.
Figure that'll work?
That looks just like the engine you brought before, but this one is nice.
This one's out of a 1966 Rambler Ambassador.
It even matches the paint color. That's cool. Mark pulled the engine out and I could tell this dude is serious. That's definitely the same transmission. I think this will just bolt right in. He's really dialed this engine in. He's all about getting it here. So I'm gonna show him what I've been up to. As soon as you said you were gonna handle that engine, I got real serious.
Holy, are you kidding me? He rolls out this body. Not only is it bodywork done, it's frickin' painted.
Oh, man.
Mark was stoked. He saw that blue out in the sun, metal flake shining. I don't think he was expecting me to go that far with it. He was talking about a rat rod. I don't know, this doesn't look like one to me.
This is not a rat rod anymore. This is a frickin' show car. Wow.
I had Johnny send me some vector images of his graphics. He just did a computer-generated thing, and I had templates made at a sticker guy. So it's actually his 5 artwork.
It's killer. Like, you nailed it.
Mark seemed genuinely impressed. I don't think he was expecting it to be that nice. I made the back window open like this. The back of the cab opens.
That's just freaking awesome. You're kind of turning me into a Volkswagen guy, you know? This is number 2 for me.
That could happen to even the best of men. Yeah, you definitely stepped it up on this. Let me show you what was going on with the other one. All good intentions aside, he sent me a bunch of rusty junk.
Yeah, wow.
This engine was not usable, and it's great. He backed it up. He brought in the freshie. I gave him a quick rundown on what went down with the chassis. He knew I had to modify it, and he was really excited that I made the decision that I did to shorten it up and lower it.
Good choice, as usual, you know?
I think as long as this engine couples up to the drive shaft, then we win.
All right, well, let me grab my tools and
Cool.
Let's get started on this bad boy. The biggest problem when the engine scenario first came up is that we had to find an AMC replacement.
At this point, we are fully committed to this engine. The notch in the body is tailored to these cylinder heads and the location of the distributor.
They have an enclosed drive shaft, but there's splines on that have to line up with that. So now we're not sure if the 65 model would line up with the 66. Who frickin' invented this?
Don't put your fingers in there.
No.
I learned that the hard way.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, lower it down, I guess she'll come together. Here we go.
You know what? This thing fits like it belongs here. I think Mark is really up to something good. Aha! There it is.
There it is.
Fits just like the other one, sir. You got just enough to put a finger in there. It's exactly how the other one fit, the same. You know what, Mark? You're all right. I take back everything I said about you last week. Changed my mind. Man, that looks good. It's like a show car, sir.
Oh, yeah. Now, if it just runs, I might win a couple more brownie points back from you.
Yeah, it's all fun and games now. Let's put some electricity to it and see what you're really working with. Having an identical engine was really a saving grace. The engine fit perfectly. It was a perfect bolt-in. It looks great. I just need to see it run. Just to get this thing to fire, you know, we hot wired it. Set up a fuel pump, put a couple wires to the starter and the coil, and I just want to fire it off, see what's gonna go on. Prepare for Operation Vacuum Suck.
Okay.
What do we got? Where's the plus? That's the minus, that's the minus.
We're off to an awesome start. We got nothing.
Guess what happened? Nothing. Strike 2. Here we go. Mark's off to a record start. Well, the pump worked great when you took it off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your track record, man, is like...
Hey, gotta have a little bit of drama.
Uh-huh. Did I hook up the wires wrong? Nope, sure didn't. That's not part of what I do.
Come on.
Uh-huh. He started off with a bunk engine. Now he's got a fuel pump that doesn't seem to be operating.
My heart just sank. You know, okay, the fuel pump's not working. Ian's looking at me like, really?
It's a typical simple thing, you know, those fuel pumps, when they sit around, they tend to not work again, and that was the case here. I'm gonna take care of you, don't worry.
You got plan B for plan B?
Yeah.
He had one, so we moved on to installing his electric fuel pump.
I know the suspense is really getting to you. You're on the edge. Is that tight? There's one last thing I'm gonna give you before we start. Here you go. That's how much faith I have.
Now this is a different coil too, so. But I do
excuse
have
to
the
start.
old original one.
Oh, just one thing, just one other thing
Just
I
one-
have to mention besides the fuel pump. You ready? I'm ready.
And this one day at band camp.
I'm ready. What could possibly go wrong? Aha! starter, and hey now, it works. All right, man, you're okay after all. You know, I had faith. You're not even gonna need that fire extinguisher today. I think you're good to go, sir. I'm very happy with that. That sounds like a good engine. I think it's on to the next. Johnny's drawing is showing no radiator in the front. You just have this bare grill shell, and that's a cool look. To me, that's the most important factor of the nose of the car. Hiding the radiator in the back is the only way through this. I made all these crazy tubes to get the liquids from the front to the back. This is crash course in plumbing. I'm having to plumb these lines from the water pump under the vehicle into the radiator. And it sounds pretty easy, but when you realize how cramped and small this car is, there's a lot of bending and fitting. Mark's handling all this stuff I don't want to deal with. That can't be spoken any easier, simpler than that. The nice thing about Mark being here is he's going to handle all of these mechanical elements I don't have to deal with.
I seem to get every dirty job that Ian doesn't like to do, wiring, and which I don't mind. I'm here to help. I'll do whatever he wants me to do.
I'm very busy. He's got time to kill. Even though for me this isn't the most thrilling part of the project, I want to make sure all the mechanics are dialed in before we put the body on. It's an issue of scratching the paint that I don't want to do. I'd say that this thing is ready to put the body on. How do you feel about that, Mark?
I'm in. Let's do it. I'm anxious to get the body on there and stand back and just look at this thing for a minute or two before Ian cracks the whip and we're back at it again.
Wait till you see this getup, Mark. Your prized vehicle is about to be lifted in the most cockamamie, backwoods manner you've ever seen. The way that I work is a little bit different than you'll see in other shops. Open that door, we're going through. So I got this big stick, a couple welding gloves, and a forklift, and we're gonna put his show car together with it.
I'm kind of scratching my head going, really? Is this how we're going to do it? I mean, it seems a little unorthodox and unsafe and not stable.
Mark was a little alarmed with my technique. You know, he's a certified helicopter engineer guy, right? And I don't think they're putting any airframes together in this manner. I got the forklift, I'm on the controls, Mark's balancing the body. The fate of his show car is literally in his hands.
Definitely not a one-man job. I don't know how he was doing it before, but the way the body goes, it's got to come down the back first and kind of hug around the frame, and then the front drops. And if you go straight back, you're out.
This is the whole deal. I've never seen this painted body on the chassis.
That is one sick ride.
Oh, we'll look at it from here.
Oh, yeah. Man.
That is pretty cool.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was, our plan was here. Ian takes it to here. Words can't describe it. It's just so close to the drawing. It's gone from paper to real life. It's a phenomenal piece of fabrication.
This thing's cool, super cool. Once I saw the body on the chassis, it got my mind spinning. I think we should take this thing to the Pomona swap meet on Sunday. It's a week away.
Now he tells me, well, we have to get this thing finished, assembled, and running because we're taking it to Pomona swap meet. And I went, what?
Pomona's just a huge blowout. It's a swap meet, it's a car show, there's cars for sale, there's everything going on. I think he'd really dig it. Putting the body on the frame looked really cool, but there's still a few things missing. The drawing is showing a frame, the actual frame of the vehicle, showing through the fender well. I got a plan. I'm just gonna fake it. Carry on with whatever linkages you're doing. I'm gonna get on this thing, because that's gonna take a little while. Okay. As minor a fabrication as this is, I need to have this frame detail come off convincingly. So like most things, I'm gonna start off with a cardboard template. Watch your toes, razor blades in action. Easy now. Every time I have cardboard on my hand, he thinks it's food. I don't get it. It's like a, you know, like a pizza box or something. It's too bad dogs don't know how to cook. They could eat all the time. He associates cardboard with a food container. There you go, keep yourself occupied.
Ian's fabrication skills, I mean, phenomenal. He can make anything out of nothing.
I got all this aluminum and I was thinking about making it out of this, but I'm just gonna do a quick test. I want it to look kind of like dimpled holes, not just simple drilled like this. A pro would have a dimple die set. There's a few different ones. One's like a press, one's like a thing with a bolt that you clamp it together. I don't have any of that. How can we do this? I think I have an old piece of plywood. Got a top to an acetylene bottle, and I got a BFH. That's a big bargain hammer.
I'm kind of working away, and then there's loud banging going on. So he's in a creative mode, and who knows what's going to pop out of it.
Dimple die. I think we're in business.
With Ian, it all relates back to that drawing. It's like it's embedded in his head. It's becoming that drawing in real life.
The dimple die would naturally want to mar this surface, so it has this plastic sheet on there. So I'm gonna finish out these edges. Probably put some kind of a lip on here and just make a bracket that'll hold it. But you see, you got these cool dimples. What's that look like, huh? Looks like the drawing to me, right? The goal today is to get these installed, have all the cosmetic parts ready for final assembly, and I gotta paint the headers. Once you see this in place, it just adds that factor that was missing. When you see the white coming out of the fender well, it's giving you the same feeling as the number 5 logo, the white on the roof. It just brings that color down low in the body. I worked on a couple other projects where there's this amazing glue. It's kind of like a crazy glue, and then it has an activator, so it's an instant cure. So it's pretty trick. You definitely don't want to get it on your fingers. So this will just get held in with 3 screws. There'll be one on the bottom here, and then these 2 tabs get welded to the frame. So it's just on little legs. Stands off 3 inches from the chassis. This thing is perfect, man. Check this out. It looks like the frame is going right through, like it's an actual chassis. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Can't believe you just whipped those up.
Perfect.
That is.
The other fabrication element that's missing is the exhaust headers.
Couldn't find any headers to fit this strange engine as it is, and no need when you have Ian Roussel on the job. He just fabricates what he needs.
I actually built these headers before the car was painted. Mark really liked them, so I explained exactly how it went down. I really liked the way the T-bucket style headers looked in the drawing, and I wanted to mimic them as close as possible. I used 1.5-inch round tube. The first step was just cutting the tubes and welding them to the flanges. Then I used the tubing bender to curve the tube and make it slope back towards the car. The real mark of the craftsman is how these pieces fit up. So just taking small cuts makes it happen. I used the plasma cutter to cut a hole in the main tube to get all the pipes to fit up and actually flow exhaust gas. The whole idea with this fit up is that once it's welded, it just looks clean. You don't see the welds. These things came out great. They look just like the drawing. I ground and sanded out all the welds, and they're ready to paint. I got this ceramic coating that's specifically for exhausts from Eastwood that cures with the heat of the engine. I've used the spray can style high temp paint before, so I was expecting this to come out similar, but as soon as I started spraying it out of the gun, it coated amazingly.
I think this is really cool looking exhaust you fabricated here. This just ties everything together. Unfortunately, I have to leave to go to a helicopter convention.
Mark's gonna leave for a couple days. The car is in a pretty good spot. I sent Johnny a picture of the car, and he says he's coming out from Florida to see it in person. The whole mission here was to make this look like Johnny's artwork. He's really itching to see it, so I want to get it driving by the time he gets here. All we got to do is finish the wiring, got a few more parts to install, and we're ready to go. Remember this?
That's what I sent you?
A little bit different than when we got here. The story with the front grille is it's an actual Model T piece that Mark had. He got it at a swap meet, but it only sort of resembles the drawing. What I did was I shortened it up from the bottom, I put an interior structure in it, and then found this really cool mesh at Industrial Metal Supply, and Bodywork painted it up.
I just gotta let you know that in aviation, the insulation you've done on this bolt is incorrect.
What? What are you talking
It's supposed to be in the direction of flight. So, and when this thing starts to fly, it's gonna go that way.
Well, I'm pretty well versed in space travel and mechanics of that nature, and none of that applies to where we're going.
Okay, so we're just gonna do a little function check, see how good my wiring skills are, and see if we got fuel pump first. Sounds like we got fuel pump.
Mark's really been working it out, you know. I know he's a perfectionist, so he gets the fuel pump in, got all the lines ran.
As they say in helicopter world, clear.
Hits the key, starter's cranking.
I expected this thing to fire right up, just like it did when we first put it in the frame, but we're not getting anything. I say we got a firing order issue.
Call him mechanic, fire him.
Who wired this?
Glad I'm not in his helicopter.
Yeah. So we do the normal checks or whatever. We found some issues with the spark plug wires. This little center coil here has to be curled over, so it's making contact with the copper connector.
I predict as soon as he gets these wires connected, it's gonna light right up. I just know it.
If this don't work, I'm going home. Huh. Same issue. You know, you're heading to the goal line and all of a sudden, bam, you're stopped, you know, and it's frustrating. Oh, wait, whoa. The cap's turning this way.
Counterclockwise?
Yeah.
Strike one, plug wires. Strike two, distributor rotation.
What's going on?
Umpire's getting feisty, man. He's almost calling the third strike in. You're out.
Am I? Good. I've always worked on Chevys all my life. So what did I do? I just put it on the way I've done it for 30 some odd years. And of course, this thing turns counterclockwise, not clockwise. I'm ready when you are again, Mr. Roussel. We got to get this thing running. Of course, there's the pressure, there's the deadline. That's always the way it is. Do I need to say a little prayer? Maybe for myself?
It totally works.
Awesome. We just squeaked it right through, you know. Hit the key, the thing fired up. Okay, good. Who shows up? Johnny Jalopy.
The word is Johnny's on his way.
I think we're ready to show Johnny Jalopy.
Yeah.
Let's let him see his creation.
I agree, sir. The coolest factor about all this was that it was a collaboration, and that's what really pushes me. Having other input really makes it a cool thing. Aha.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on?
Cow.
What do you think about that?
Kidding. Dude, finally got awesome to meet you,
brother.
man.
Good to meet you.
Mark,
Mark.
what's up, man? When I first walked in, I just went, are you kidding me? It's a machine now. It's like spot on to see something was in my brain in front of me, you know, that I can touch and feel and smell and hear. undescribable feeling of just amazement.
Yeah.
That dash came out so good.
Yeah, it's my dog's water bowl. He came in, and I don't know how he reacts to stuff, but it seemed like he was super charged up.
Killed it, man.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Cool.
It's exactly what I thought about was a little bus thing sitting on a tea bucket. How cool would it be to take one super crazy culture, the Volkswagen guys, and one crazy culture, the hot rod guys, and mesh that together and create something totally different. And a lot of people looking at my drawing always thought, nah, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. Well, he just did it.
I love the fact that your drawing was a VW bus, so I bought the headlights, Mark got the taillights.
I cannot wait to see this on the road and people going, what is that?
Yeah, this is kind of where we're at, man. We're still in final assembly. I gotta detail out the headlights,
Dude,
put the rest of the windows and the interior in. The whole thing here is to get this truck in the trailer and show it. So it was really cool to have Johnny here to work on the thing, because then he's like hands-on, you know, he gets to respect how much effort it took to pull this off.
But to be here and be able to touch it and work on it a little bit has been really cool.
Trying to get the last of these windows in. Took me a while to figure out how the driver's door window mechanism was gonna happen, but I nailed that. So Johnny's doing the simple fixed window in the back, and I'm getting the last windshield panel put in. Pretty straight ahead.
He says, did you say the easy back window?
I gave him the easy one to do. I handled all the challenging tasks. Installing windows is pretty challenging. I told Johnny what I needed from the rear portion, so it just takes time. I'm busy, I'll let him figure it out, and that's really the learning process. I'll be here fussing with this while you go on to victory.
Tell you what, let me
I'll be here doing the hard time.
finish this up and I'll be right over to give you a hand with that.
Come around and bail me out. Maybe I've just done this a lot. I don't get it. You know, I just pulled the film right off and hey, that's it. It wasn't the case for Johnny.
Meanwhile, he's pulled 2 sheets of the plastic stuff off, and Johnny looks like a moron.
I'm quick, man.
Seriously? 45 minutes of me trying to get plastic off Lexan, and then Ian just comes over and rips it right off. Right. What are you gonna do? Woo! Almost.
The last thing we needed was this upholstery. Hey, right on time.
Yeah, here's the rest of the stuff.
Perfect. Jack pushed this interior to the last minute. Johnny and Mark are gone. It's the night before the big show.
I was up all night, worked my fingers to the bone.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
We'll get busy.
Yes, sure. It was pre-fit. All I had to do was screw it in place, and we're off. This thing's wrapped. This is a toy come to life. Mark is out of his mind. Johnny is totally charged up about this.
It's the coolest thing I ever seen. I'm stoked for Pomona.
I can't wait for that first reaction from people when they see it.
Up to this point, it's been a static piece. Johnny drew it, it's been sitting in the shop, but it's an actual car, it drives around. It's time to take it to the car show. We're out here at Pomona. It's a swap meet car show, the biggest one in the world.
Shaka, good job.
Pomona, man, beautiful swap meet. I've been cruising around there this morning. Reaction on the car is all thumbs up.
Probably the coolest car at the swap meet today. And cool, and way different. You know, I love it.
I had never seen it outside the shop until today. So the windows absolutely glow in the sunlight, and it was like a beacon. People were hypnotized, they were drawn to it, and everybody was digging it.
Well, I would think that's probably one of the most unique hot rods I've seen out here in the 30 years I've come out here. There's lots of different things out here, but that one's truly unique.
It's the cartoon driving experience that, if you own this, you'll have that, you'll achieve that. It's wonderful, man.
Do you know what Spaßhaber is? Guys who had fun with cars.
This journey has been awesome. It's definitely going down in the records as one of the best weeks I've ever spent down here.
The reaction, and it's a dream come true, and I'm almost speechless. I'm soaking it in. I can't wait to do more.
Victor shows up with the Boonie Bug I built. It has the chassis of the original VW bus. It's just so cool to see that original thrashed out VW bus rehabilitated into 2 new projects.
But that was the body that was on this car. So this is, you're looking at one car here.
After seeing everything that Ian can achieve, if you can dream it, he could build it.
He's a master. He's one of the main reasons why I'm an aspiring fabricator myself. He's major talent, major talent.
This is kind of a step in a new direction for me because it's the wildest design I've ever worked on, and it was dictated by an artist. So it really makes me want to do more. Chevrolet parking lot in the International compound?
Chevrolet.
Wow.
This will surprise you. Neither are runners.
What? We ran great when you parked it, right?
Yeah.
What kind of used car salesman are you? We're trying to feel out Bill and then feel out the vehicle as well. At the beginning of every project, obviously the condition of the vehicle is always the most important thing to me. Yeah, this one's pretty hammered, sir. It's,
Well, I bought these together.
Oh.
I loved this one, and that kind of went with the deal, and I thought maybe some parts were needed or something.
So this is a 54, right? I recognize
Yes.
this grill. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like it too. When I saw this, it reminded me so much of when I was a kid, raised on a chicken farm, and we had one very similar to this. I have really great memories of it.
Bill's telling me the story about this pickup truck and, his childhood memories. He's got some passion for this thing before we even lay a hand on it, which is great. Now, this thing has mucho character, man. Everybody loves a classic Chevy pickup. I mean, the deal breaker for anything is it all cancered out? Is it all rotten on the inside? And it doesn't appear to be.
I've certainly shown you worse.
Yes, you have.
I actually kind of like the green.
I mean, it has a lot of appeal when it's real patina, It's
Yeah.
like people fake it all the time, but if it's the real deal, original paint, you can recognize it.
Yeah. I've never had a patinaed paint job before. We always painted them, but the look is rubbing off on me, and I just want to try it. And this is the perfect vehicle to do it with.
We've done enough projects for me to understand that you're not looking for the period correct restoration.
You can do whatever you want as long as we can keep this fine green paint.
It's kind of a strange request, but if that's where your head's at, I can accomplish that for you.
Okay.
My plan on disassembling this is cut everything off that we're not using. The body's free, the bumpers are free, but you see it's all still together. It's stuck. So I'm gonna try to use the persuading tool. I have a lot of tools, but on the top of the list, caveman technology, it's kind of my ace. Bill wasn't really specific about what he wanted, except that he wanted it to look old. So my whole plan here is to fool everybody into thinking it's this junky old truck. But underneath, it's like a tale of two cities. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Pickup trucks from this year into the 57 or so, they all look good with that rake, nose down attitude. I'm trying to bring that a little bit more into the roofline. A little traditional, a little my way. I just act like I don't know anything at the start of every day. I learn how to tie my shoes, I learn how to brush my teeth, and then I figure out how to chop a top. chop top is not a set of rules, it's the simple lowering of the roof line. I figure you can go and draw any line you want through that thing, as long as it's a chop top. I'm subtle, 1.5 inches in the front, and a whopping 1 inch in the rear. So look at that, see? A little 1/2 inch down, it's 1/2 inch lower in the front. Now it's not that flat top baseball hat. See how the drip rails in the windows are just going just a little bit. That's a good call, Ian. I'm glad you did that. Thanks, Bill. That height looks good to me. I'm stopping with those dimensions. But, you know, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing this. And we got a couple issues to contend with. And there's where your problem is. Every chop, if you keep the back in line, the front is not in line. And vice versa, right on down the line. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. You got this big step. Nobody likes looking at a mismatch like this. I think I got a remedy that will remedy the remedy, bring it all together. I got a problem, I got a couple ideas for a solution, and no time like the present to try out some new ideas. You see, when you line up the front, here's where the issue is. The typical formula is you cut through the center here and extend it that much. But I don't want to do that. I want to give this pillar an angle. This is when good planning really comes into play. If I thought this through properly, it's going to come out awesome. If not, we're going to have a lot more problems. All right, so attaching the A-pillars just like they were, a straight shot down, we'll be able to use the stock glass and trim it. The back is the deeper part of the story. I really like to leave the drip rail in place on a chop. It's not the easy way out, but I feel like it offers a line in the vehicle. Sometimes the roof cap, it tends to look too big if its drip rail's removed. It's pretty aligned to me, you know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't expecting that, but you could see it actually works. The wild card is the back wall. I got some sheet metal flapping in the breeze. Starting off the rear portion of the cab with the simple flat sheet, so I tack welded the entire perimeter of the rear window skin into place. So the glass is still flat, but the cab has just a much rounder feeling in the back. I didn't mess up the paint. I got away with something. But we're not out of the woods yet. Bill wanting to retain this old paint, I'm leaving it all in place. I'm just gonna go very gingerly around the painted areas and put in as little new metal as possible. This is the trickiest part of the whole thing, getting these little pie cuts in. As it cools, it wants to collapse. So every time I weld it, pop it back into shape. You gotta go slow, just keep giving it the massage. Got all these tacked up. It's gonna be a lot of welding, so while it's cooling down, then you get onto these door tops, and that'll seal the deal. So now you get a real good illustration of how much it's chopped and how the pillars have changed. Not radical, but definitely different. Looks like my new middle name of Subtle is really sticking. You know, this chop could lead off a whole new avenue. You know, I could just be shaving door handles for the rest of my career. So all that cutting that went on in the roof now has to transfer into the shape of these upper door frames. I can't wait to show this to Bill, and I've already got a few ideas for some custom stuff on the front. Got the chop all wrapped up, and here comes Bill.
Wow, did it again.
There's your chop top.
Another miracle.
Well, guess how much it's chopped?
1.5 inches, 2 inches?
Well, yes, both answers are correct.
Oh, different. Oh yeah, look at the slope.
I raked it.
Subtlety.
I like the subtle chop. You know, it's appropriate for Mr. Bill and his needs.
You gotta love it. It looks better than the factory. That's the way GM should have built it.
That's what I'm always saying, man.
Yeah.
Glad to see Bill's happy. You know, my new middle name just might be sticking. Old Subtle Roussel. His wild ideas were cool, but man, that's subtle, smooth.
When you turn you loose, I never know what to expect.
Yeah, old age, you know, it gets to everybody, so.
That's a side of Ian I haven't seen. This is subtle. I love it. He did just what I'd hoped he would. It's gonna be a nice cruiser, Ian.
So this is pretty much nailed. The grill is a whole other issue. Unless you want a big smashed in nose, you know, I can repair it, but it's always gonna be different. As usual, I've got some ideas, just need a little alone time, I'll work it out. First thought process is, well, it's the wrong way, it's backwards. What if I put it rightwards? I wonder if I couldn't just put that on upside down. That ain't gonna work. Not getting out of this one that easy. I'm just gonna form one by hand. I know Bill's got a lot of stuff. I don't want to use new steel because that's so much of a contrast. This looks like that. Perfect. Making this out of a flat sheet with limited tools is a little more involved. You know, you have to stretch the metal pretty specifically, pretty controlled with basic hand tools. I got this whole setup from Eastwood. It's a leather sandbag. It's full of sand. The idea is when you hammer on it, it gives a little bit. And then I got all these plastic hammers from Eastwood as well. And if I had a formula, I would explain it, but I don't. Let's just start hitting it. You can only either stretch or shrink metal. I only have the opportunity to stretch it. Smooth it out with the English wheel, fit, repeat. Repeat performance of the old soft shoe technique. I don't know about you, it's starting to look like a piece of a fender to me. So the benefit of using the other fender from the parts truck would have been that panel will just sit right in place. What I'm running into is the same issue as with the chop top. I created a panel and it's not an exact replica of the fender, so I'm gonna have to make a vertical slice similar to what I did on the back wall of the cab to get this to fall into place. Once I got all welded and ground down, it's exactly what I was hoping for. That's my business, the old subtle crisis solver. That's that. Literally, first time I ever did that. As with all the welding on this, it's gonna need refinement and touch-up paint. So I got into the factory paints a little more than I was hoping, but hey, it looks good, I'm gonna own it. Now is the moment of truth. You know, how does the windshield fit into this irregularly styled chop top? It's kind of weird when you're talking about installing a windshield and then you're also describing this rope thing. What it is your channel that goes into the metal flange on the truck. You know, the rope goes in here, and what it does is the rope, as you pull it out, it pulls the rubber flange over, and then that just snaps back on. It just kind of pulls itself into shape once everything's lined up.
You did a good job on cutting this and welding it all up and everything, because everything fit.
Seeing it fit like it did is a huge relief, because you can measure all you want, but once you have this other piece of unforgiving material, you know, the fit up is the true tell of the fabrication.
Corners fit good on it.
Nice.
Everything fits good, the top. Now you can go cruising.
Yeah, it looks right. At least you can drive it now.
Yeah.
Good deal. I'm really looking forward to see how this truck performs. I think it's gonna turn some heads. This truck is a driver, and I'd call it complete. Completely subtle. That's a good looking rig, man. Walking up on it, it's got the stance, as a hot rod truck should. The whole theme with this was a little bit old, a little bit of new, and that's harder to accomplish than just the spoken word. The chop top, the chassis swap, mixing all that up and still having it present as kind of a barn find classic truck. It was a challenge. All it needed was everything.
The steering wheel's original.
That's true.
Once Ian finished his work on it, Martine and I got busy with a lot of little things I don't really know how to express. I think it's my favorite build.
You know, that TCI chassis, that's the game changer. This thing, it's not a ranch truck.
No, no.
It's kind of like ranch dressing on a race car.
Yeah.
Patina really sells it as that vintage work truck Bill was looking for, but everything else is cooler. The 17-inch rims with those low-profile tires sells it. It looks fast.
The overall look of the truck is exactly what I wanted. You know, I like kind of the stock look, but with just a little bit of change. You look at the few little pieces of chrome we added, the tires, the wheels, the little chop, and you're going, that's not just drug off the farm. I was very concerned when you said, I'm subtle on this chop. I went, oh my God, he's not subtle. He's everything but that.
It was an interesting choice that Bill made in letting all the work show. You know, the weld seams are simply painted over to stop it from rusting, but you know, it works. It's like it's clear as day where I cut it, right? Somebody's gonna be like, nice truck, and another guy's gonna be there like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Something doesn't make sense.
I like it. I'm sure some people are gonna say, when are you gonna paint this? That's the way it is.
See what this baby can do, man. That's what this has all been leading up to. The easiest chop top I've ever got into. You know, the TCI chassis under it makes it a real street machine. This thing is built to boogie. Oh yes, there we go. It's not your grandfather's ranch truck. This is why your neighbors put up that slow down sign, now I know.
It's impressive, isn't it?
This is impressive. It's not even a pickup truck anymore. This thing is a road machine.
Yeah.
Bill was really surprised. You know, he is old school, right? So he's been in a lot of custom rides, and he's mostly really responding to how smooth and fresh and new it feels. You know, a lot of these older trucks, you step on the brakes and it goes off the road, right?
This one is straight as a die.
This is perfect.
It was a lot of fun to see Ian and have him drive the truck the first time. Ian's not often impressed with anything. As he was driving it, the response of the steering, the brakes, all of it, he was like, whoa, this is nice.
You gotta check this out. Driving a truck's one thing, of course, but hey, this is a bit of a showpiece, in my opinion. I wanted to see how it looks coming down the lane. Just what the doctor ordered. You know, the way the front tires fit in the fenders, when it steers, you know, the bumper height to the ground, and Bill's idea to keep the green paint was perfect. It's got the stance, it's got the drivability. For a daily driver, this truck nails it. Hey, you wanna race, Grandpa? Oh, wow.
There it is.
Heck yeah, that is cool. It's like a 46, right?
47.
47. That's a nice car, man. I gotta say, this car's got a ton of potential. You know, this is one of those things I was not expecting. It's in great shape. You're stepping up your game. This one actually has windows in it. This is the point where you say, no, it's the car behind there?
Yeah.
Or is this the one?
This is it, man.
This is like a really good condition car, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're gonna love it inside.
Oh, wow. If you know me, you know I'm usually not called in on a project that starts off looking like this, so who knows? Maybe times are a-changing.
You know, we walked up on it, it was like, damn, this thing's clean, straight, you know, complete.
Oh, yeah, but you know what really excites you about this car? Watch, lean forward. It doesn't have that old car smell.
It looks clean, but definitely warrants more inspection. Hopefully Tom didn't buy it for the new car smell. But you've only been trying for the last 20 years to get the family cruiser, man. I think you're pretty much there.
I'm hoping so.
This looks like a great potential for Tom's family car. He keeps talking about that with every project. Some are chopped a little too low, some only have 2 seats. This looks like a happy medium. I mean, where'd you even get this? What the heck's the story?
I got it from an old man in Santa Clarita. And the story goes, 10 years ago, he was driving it, heard something knocking or clunking or something, parked it, started working on it, and then just stopped and left it in his garage for 10 years.
They were working on it. They heard a clunk and it stopped working. The old man from Santa Clarita met the little old lady from Pasadena, and that was the end of his car project. Doesn't make sense to me. Who was working on it? Why were they working on it? Were they even mechanics? If they were mechanics and they quit, something heavy's going on in there.
Yeah, it's a great body style though. Really nice.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see the way, like from the 30s, the cars with all the big bulbous fenders, and as it progressed through the 40s, all the bubble shapes sunk up. Now the running boards are inside the door. It's cool because so many of these have been just, you know, street rotted especially, you know. All the chrome's gone off like 90% of these.
It's like a barn find, but to find it complete like this was pretty amazing. Still these days, you can find stuff like that.
Just looking at this car, even at first glance, I got some ideas spinning around. You know, I'm getting the feeling about this thing, man. This thing is systematic. It's hydromatic. Tommy, this car is greased lightning, isn't it? This is the greased lightning car.
Yeah, man, it's the same one.
See, I had a feeling about that. You need a clear plastic hood.
Oh, wow.
Some big fenders.
Oh, no.
Cool lightning bolt graphic. I love your ideas. The Tom of yesteryear just might flip in a moment like this, but he seems to be taking it pretty well.
This is the car I've wanted since I was 18 years old, man.
Makes all the more sense to just cut it to pieces.
Oh.
Tom knows me well enough to just take it all in stride, you know? Maybe it won't go so radical, but maybe it will.
So what do you think, man? Are you into it?
Oh, totally, 100%. This is a really good starting point. So you remember that Packard we started with? You remember the truck we started with?
Yeah.
This is in really good shape.
And it ain't perfect, but it's perfect enough.
That sounds a lot like me, man. So here we go. Another project with great potential for some full custom customizing. Anything goes. I know what I want. I want it low and fast.
I'm excited, man. I say let's get into it.
I know Tom's approaching this project with a limited budget, you know, and he came to the right place. I got a lot of resources. I got a lot of ideas. I think we can get this done. Transmission catching device. The end game here is to make it a really solid cruiser. And as much as it hurts Tom to pull out these 47 Ford parts, it's gonna be way better in the end for doing so. So, class, next time your car won't roll, see, it's locked. If you move this thing, it's free. Now that we've completed our lesson in vintage transmission diagnostics, all we have to do is everything. We've got Tom's street cruiser into the shop with all kinds of hopes and dreams being tossed around. We could push it down the boulevard, but he wants to drive it, so we got some work to do. Pulling that transmission and engine, we definitely got an issue to deal with. The idea of an engine swap just got me thinking. The outside of the car's telling one story,
Yeah.
but the insides, it needs some help.
Yeah, it's pretty rough in there, man.
Why not just upgrade the whole drivetrain, front and rear suspension as well?
I like where you're going with that, man. I mean, this old stuff is cool because it's old school, but I don't know, man, you've got my interest.
Out with the old, in with the new. I got people giving me stuff left and right. It's like, you know, with 50 acres, I start to collect stuff. So
Yeah.
let's take your engine out to pasture and I'll show you what I'm working with.
All right.
All I could say is out with the old and in with the not so old. There it is, man. Just rolling the clip up to the front of the car, it looks like it's gonna fit. The only thing that's gonna tell is to get it under there and see if it actually works. The whole challenge here, the way I was thinking about it, is I don't want to go like unbolting stuff, right? So I want it to look just the same. With something like this, you would normally take the whole front clip off. I think we can get around that. Also, I think we should just cut 2 big windows in the inner fender wells and make them removable.
Yeah, man, when you start talking about cutting up these old cars, I start getting a little bit nervous. But at the same time, I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen.
So what you're saying is that you're both nervous and excited.
Yeah, man.
Sounds like a first date.
It's like a roller coaster, bro.
The fact that Tom has his camera out means that his nerves has settled a bit, and that's good news because the worst is yet to come. I have to get Tom in on the action so he can really soak in the destructive process. Aha!
Here she goes.
The main advantage in installing this front clip is we get to tailor the ride height, we get to tailor the wheelbase. You're really just creating the whole new front end of the car and modernizing it. I have no faith, fear, no fear. At this point, we're not really sure where the 2 pieces are gonna meld. Typically what I do in this case is I just nip them both off and keep decreasing the space between them.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, it's all fun and games when we're cutting apart my cars, huh?
Yeah.
What did he think we were gonna do? Put on a couple coats of wax or something? I mean, he has been warned. Now that you've become a street rodder, somebody's gonna want those old parts.
I'm telling you, we're gonna do a whole new thing with street rodding.
Before we mock up this clip, I wanna pull out the coil spring so the suspension's completely compressed.
I felt that in my teeth.
Yeah. Most times I'm building a car like this, I'll put in the front clip with no springs in it at all. The idea being it's at its maximum lowness and you're on the bump stops, you can figure out where the tires are gonna come up to the sheet metal on the car. Now you really get a sense as to how wide the frames are, huh? Look at that, they're very close. That's good news. It's a relief to see this front clip up under the car. It's always theory until you really get it to position. The other news is it's gonna take a lot more to get this thing all fit up. So the point we're at now is we need tires. The diameter of the tire is gonna dictate the ride height ultimately, because we can put this frame, like I mentioned, anywhere, up or down. It's your street rod, so go get some billet rims. We'll figure out what we're gonna do with that, and I'll make some measurements. You know what they say, safety third.
Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing like the first look at your new ride. Drop her down. Looking good, looking better.
Yeah, it's bottom out on the jack.
That's how it's supposed to be, man. The jack's supposed to get stuck. It would not be a true Roussel original if you're able to put a standard floor jack under it.
Oh boy, that is low.
That's how it's supposed to sit. I'm real happy with it. It's probably a bit more radical than Tom was even expecting. Yeah, I mean, you can see the tuck in those front tires. It's on point.
Dude, can we drop the back down?
Yeah, that's next. That's why we got it teeter-tottered like that. The whole rear axle's disconnected. So I got a cool thing to show you how that's gonna come together. Check it out.
Oh, right on.
I've been ruminating about all the ways I could step up this project for Tom, and with the rear suspension, it's a no-brainer. Check this out. TCI does full suspension upgrades, and I saw that they had it for this model car. And when I say full, it comes with the shocks, it comes with the shackles, it comes with the leaf springs. U-bolts?
My bolts.
I've used TCI kits in the past, and they always deliver. You got your independent front suspension, right? So that's already way more advanced than that straight axle. That's still got the same kind of buggy, transverse leaf spring in the back. So now with this, right, parallel leaf springs in the back, all the buggy springs are out.
Oh.
It's gonna ride like a Ford Ranger pickup. I mean, like a race car. It's gonna ride like a race car. Little low in the front, nice and rolly.
I love this ride height. I love the rake.
Well, then I guess my job is done here. Sold.
I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, it's groovy. It's very emotional, and that's what it's all about.
This is exactly how I picture it sitting. I don't want it too low. Obviously don't want it too high.
Right.
And I'm more of a California rake than a tail dragger.
You took Grandpa and you put him right back in high school.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. We need to get an engine and trans. That way we can put some weight in the front, put the springs back in, and then decide how you want it to sit.
Hot Rod Bob says he's got an engine and trans sitting there waiting for us.
Groovy. Let's go on over.
You know what this makes me feel like doing?
I told you. It's grease lightning.
Oh, okay. Right now it's just seeming way too long.
Yeah, I took off the headers, the power steering, the alternator. I knew it was gonna be tight going in.
Ooh, yeah, we're hitting that sheet metal on the firewall.
That's what I was concerned about. This is what it comes down to, all the theorizing and planning and et cetera, that all leads up to this. Like, if it doesn't fit, guess what? It doesn't fit. Push her in.
All right. Pan's starting to clear.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Whoa.
That's it, it went right in. Look at that, it doesn't hit the floor at all. I did everything I can to make sure this is gonna work. Fortunately, with this 46 Ford, the entire driver's compartment floorboard unbolts, so it's gonna be a huge time saver in being able to see how things line up. That's super tight. You're probably gonna have to just do a little raise in the tunnel right here in the floor, but that fits. I mean, just fits.
That's really good, man. Seems like we're not gonna have to cut up a whole lot.
The fit seems to be a success. Now it's all about tailoring it, get the thing aligned and get the motor sitting straight. Prepare for leveling. Commencing leveling.
Stop.
In a perfect world, everything would just line up and drop in place, just like you imagined. But the world ain't perfect like that. What it's gonna take is some full custom. So you can see that the motor mounts are now behind the cross member.
There's no metal there for it. What do we do about that?
Called a creative solution.
Are you gonna fabricate something?
I know a guy with a welder. A few more measurements and we're all set for old Nine Fingers to cut some plates.
All right.
It's Tommy Nine Fingers. It's pretty intimidating. You wonder what happened to the 10th. But here's the deal, those tubes you cut, they fit this hardware perfectly. This plate here, see, it goes behind the cross member like that.
Oh yeah, I see.
Vertical. Even stronger. This is gonna go right on top like that. I personally guarantee it, you're gonna love the way you look. I gotta say, the generic shape of this Ranger cross member really worked out well. There wasn't a lot of science or configuring to get these motor mounts welded in.
Yeah, these mounts look really good, man.
You know, I'd like to say 3 things. At first, you were questioning, and then you were nervous, but now you're relieved.
That's the way it goes. That's the typical Tom formula right there, bro.
Here in the final stretch of the operation, I can't let Tom or his car out of the shop without a little torture. I mean, customization. Getting pretty good at this photography stuff, man. Your Instagram already has 500 likes.
Wait, you put a picture of me on Instagram?
I mean, cut an irreplaceable piece? Come on, I gotta keep myself entertained somehow. Ooh, look at that. Now stand back and look at it. See, this doesn't look so spread out.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Just tucked it up a little bit.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I like that a lot.
See?
Oh, wow.
Old subtle Roussel strikes again. It's weird, it takes it from just like having a jutting lower jaw, right, and just tucks it up.
I am glad you talked me into that, man.
So I'm just gonna set it both sides and then we can twist it to whatever angle looks best. Jack it up. Raise it, raise it, raise it. Mm-hmm.
Man, you got some tricky ways.
As good as it looks, I don't think we're gonna get through this without final inspection, you know? Thing 1 and thing 2. Let's see what the judges think. Here comes trouble.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
The Spectres and Tom are old friends, so it's like a family reunion. Front end, complete swap. Installed a Ranger subframe. Car's gonna be much lower. Don't concern yourself yet. Hop in, check out that floor pan action. Can you dig it?
Oh, he digs it.
I guess so. Say we just assemble this thing and run it. This is what every project leads up to, right? The moment of truth. Is it gonna work? All right, Speed King, time is at hand. We are out at the top secret testing facility. It is time for the shakedown run.
Are you excited? I'm excited.
I was born excited, man. That's what we're doing here.
I've been looking forward to this moment, and I'm just...
I love it. Never lose that naivety.
Ah, it's perfect, man. There's nobody around.
It's 110 degrees, the wind is perfect. What could possibly go wrong? You still remember how to drive, right?
Shall we turn on the juice and see what shakes loose?
Yeah, we got all that suspension fabrication handled. Tom took it over to Hot Rod Bob's. They did all the mechanical stuff, did the alignment, gas tank install. Basically, it came back as turnkey. We just adjusted the ride height, a couple minor things, and time to test it out. Sounds good. That way, Jeeves.
Yeah! Oh man, this is so exciting. It's the 40 body style, which I absolutely love. You got the fat fenders, that cool round roof, the engine, it sounds awesome. It's just a really crisp, old school rod sound, you know?
That feels like it's from the 60s for sure.
Yeah. It rides the line between hot rod and custom, a little bit of a cool classic flavor to it.
It's greased lightning.
It's greased lightning. Man, this is beyond what I could have hoped for. This is much more than what I could have imagined.
I don't know, man. This feels good.
It does.
Drives like a street rod. You reinvented the street rod, sir.
We
Perfect.
did. The front suspension, that was a brilliant idea.
I'd like to thank you for thanking me.
Yes.
There's no reason you can't put a truck subframe under one of these.
Smiles for miles,
That's
man.
exactly what I was thinking. Smiles for miles.
It feels so right, just putting my elbow out the window, too.
I gotta say, man, this car is gangsta. Tommy Nine Fingers is back.
I'll tell you.
You got the mobster car to back it up now. All you need is some special suit, maybe a fedora, I don't know. You got all the costumes, man.
I do. I got a fedora.
I figured.
Yeah, it's one thing to look at a car. With something like this, to really, really understand how awesome it is, you've got to drive it.
Yeah, it's like grandma's couch up in here. It's awesome. I've driven some weird contraptions. This don't think they'll scare me. This is probably my all-time favorite project. I loved this Packard from the moment I saw it. I chopped it, sectioned it, got the proportions exactly the way I wanted to see them. And you know, life happens, right? I don't want to say that I'm disinterested, but I just had other priorities. So here it sat. There was still a lot more I wanted to see done with this. You know, I wanted it full custom, and there was still a few more things on the wish list. Put it up for sale, like, you know, who knows what could happen to it, and a good friend just made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was considering selling the car and losing it, not knowing what would go on with it, and Victor steps in and says, hey, let's both have it and still do exactly what you want to do, with minor enhancements. Tom and I did a huge amount of work in the fabrication on this. You know, the section and the chop on this was a lot of labor. And Victor's like, you can't sell the thing. Look at all the work you've done. So that's really who Victor is. He's a solid finisher every time. I grabbed a few choice pieces from Victor's ultimate pick-apart selection. My concept from the start was always this cartoonish kind of thing. So you have a lead sled, right? It's all sleek and low, kind of gangster style, right? But then you have this ominous front grille, like when it's coming down the road. It looks kind of like a menacing cartoon. Victor and I have a long relationship. He's never once said, do what you want and I'll finish it. So I'm a little hesitant, a little taken aback, but he said, do what I want, and he's not around, so that's where I'm going. Now we're talking. Well, I love the look of this. What bothers me is the giant hole in the middle of the car. I got these Buick parts. Started thinking kind of a what-if scenario. What about something like that? But then where do the headlights go? That's the other issue. And this is where we take a right turn. We could just stack a bunch of parts on the front of this car, but I want it to look purposeful, like it belongs that way. I love it. This is the tail, the exact tail of the good old-fashioned mock-up. Packard was just such a, like, nose-in kind of arrangement. I feel like this big, giant grill will really help it out. And you know, like a bunch of these Buick teeth. Like a whole row of them. Merc eatering grill. It's gotta have massive teeth. Right now, I'm just looking at the grill and bumper, how that chrome parts fit together. You know, later on down the road, all the sheet metal on the fenders is gonna have to be modified. This would seem like a lot of work to the average individual. But for Victor, it's probably a walk in the park as long as I'm accomplishing it. So that's where we're going with this. I want a big ominous grille on the car, and that's all I'm looking at. I love the Cadillac bumper. I love those Buick teeth. So try to figure out how to make them look like they belong on the car and then build to that. I know Victor's running white walls in the end with this car, just like all the rest. So threw on a temporary set of white walls, that gets the bumper right down to the ground. The bumper was like almost 4 inches wider than the car, so I just cut out the center of it, brought it in, and welded it back together. First thing first is these Buick teeth. This will be the center one. I want that to just hide that. My process always starts really loose, just stacking a bunch of ideas and seeing what looks best. But now it's to the point where like fantasy meets reality. I take the old Buick bumper and segment that and just bolt these all in place. Even though this Buick bumper is in pretty rough shape, it does offer these perfectly spaced holes where the teeth bolt on. So that's a good starting point to get them at least positioned. So now it looks like a bumper again. All about the mock-up. You would think that these would be all the same, but they're all unique. There's a left and a right side of these things. What I'm trying to look for between the Cadillac and the Buick parts is like a flow. It's like I feel those teeth either have to go like up. They have to go up. I was thinking I would see this chrome, but I'm gonna delete it. The whole key for me, it's just like making music. When it sounds right, it's right. Good news is the front of the car is getting lighter and lighter with every modification. There's no instruction manual, there's no rules, just what feels right. I like that. You know, that's a mouthful right there. The only thing I would add to that is maybe this upper grill bar somehow. The mock-up's really coming to life, but to have these parts technically fit with the car is a little bit more involved. Not 100% on this upper grill bar, but what I love about it is how it comes down, down. It's that classic waterfall effect where it's just stepping down. The upper lip, maybe, maybe not, but once I place the headlights, that'll determine. I like these, early, mid-50s Oldsmobile. These are the original Packard headlights. The whole front of this Packard is looking completely different than it was when it's stock. So there's nowhere to attach these headlights. So I'm just creating a simple crossbar to hang the bezels and figure out what looks appropriate. I'm just looking for that face, you know? The face only a mother could love. As long as that's cool, I can build anything behind it. I want the car to be custom, right? So it's easy to just hang a picture on the wall. I don't want that. I want it to look a little more aggressive, a little Frankenstein-y, a little bit overbearing. It looks a little like Victor to me. It's got the mustache. It's got the cool vibes. It's not his car quite yet. I'm not concerned in the least about anything. So this hood, it's a no-brainer. Cut it right through. And this should illustrate it quite clearly. There's your problem right there. It just doesn't line up. It's a complete mismatch. The Packard grille design and the Buick grille design are totally different shapes, so the front of the hood's definitely gonna be modified. Victor said, do whatever I want, so hey, I've created a grille in the fashion of the man himself. Now all it's left to do is just build a car that supports that look. You know, just thinking about curvature, right? It's like, where do you start? I don't know, start from another piece of the car. So just as a preliminary thing, I put the contour gauge on the center of the roof and transfer that to the fender. Contour gauge is a great starting point because you have a definite, and when you need to make multiple parts, you put your gauge on and it tells you where you need improvement. I'm not saying this is easy, and I'm not saying that I'm good at it, but look at the difference. Seriously, I'm about 2 hours into this. This is really exciting to see this shape develop. Lumping this piece of metal with a modified baseball bat and turning it into a fender, that's pretty groovy. Let's see what it looks like on the car. This is a good starting point. This is gonna be the trickiest part, the reverse, because this is just a bowl shape. It's gonna come down and then spill out. That's what he said, it'll never be a bowl. It's always gonna shed water. I'm just gonna tack this in place. If I have to change something, I'll cut and section as needed. It can be enhanced, it can be brought up, but that next part where the headlight comes down into the hood is the real challenge. Creating the fender in this manner of multiple pieces really helps me out because it's the same type of steps I take like when I was designing the front grille. Focus on one small part and build off of that. What I'm trying to decide is, do I want the fender to just be like up to the headlight or do I want it to be more like a shelf across? I'm feeling like more like a shelf across. Even though I graduated from Bill's apprentice panel workshop, I possess a master's degree in winging it. Bill says most people would create a buck and build to that, so you know your forms and where you're going with the shaping. I'm not affording myself that because I'm really not sure what I'm building, so that's a good recipe for a disaster scenario, and in my opinion, that ups the challenge. This is gonna be the crown, and that's gonna be the reverse. See what we can do. At a point in everything, you just gotta be you, right? You gotta do your own thing, and you have to apply all the knowledge you've been given. That's what makes each person's results unique. I got exactly what I wanted. Look at this shape, you know, this really swooping down from the headlight. You know, it looks like the headlight belongs. Look at that side, it's just stuck on. Now the fender goes right to it. Knowing Victor, it may have a minor enhancement, but I'm gonna finish up that other fender and see what's gonna happen with that big bulbous nose. We got freaking rodents. See the holes inside all the way in the back? I'll shoo them out of there. Aha! This is getting out of control. Not only do I have to finish that other fender, I gotta get those inspectors in here. We definitely have a mouse problem. Check this out, man. It's changed a little since the last time you seen it.
Ah, it's back in the shop.
Yeah, look at the front.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put in some work.
Yeah, me and Victor started collaborating on this thing, and he brought up a whole ton of parts.
Oh, wow.
Brought my friend Tom in to help out with this last piece of the puzzle. You know, we did all this chopping and sectioning together, and I only felt it was right to include him in this last decision.
It's riding that line between wild and...
obscene.
Yeah, it is obscene.
I think Tom doesn't know what to think, because a lot of times you would want to hear, wow, that's a pretty looking thing, right? That's easy on the eyes. This is none of that.
It's not...
My job is done.
It's not too mild, it's not... I don't know, man.
That's the reaction I was going for, right? It's like, it's supposed to be a little scary.
You did some risky work here, man.
It's risky business, baby, every day.
I noticed you got a big old hole there.
Time to get down to business. The issue of wrapping up this nose. I don't want it to look like the whale with like the big bubble on its head, like a beluga or something.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't want, because the Packard is that, right? It has like that big bulge coming forward.
Well, I'm here to help, man.
Started messing around and I wanted to ask your opinion. Like, what do you think if we just flip this? I know it's not normal protocol, but around here, the flip it upside down and backwards trick is always a go-to move.
It still looks bulbous up front, but at the same time, it stops in a squared off way right above the mustache.
It's just not gonna weld in. You can see all the gaps and the mismatch in the corners, but instead of wheeling out a new dome on the English wheel, maybe just use that piece and adapt to it. I've been really focusing on honing my English wheel skills, and I'm not afraid to dip into my bag of tricks. It's all about the end result. So why don't you work on taking the paint off of this, and I'll work on taking the paint off of that. Every one of these old cars, look at that. Hiding secrets. Nothing shocking when you're dealing with old cars, and frankly, surprises aren't surprising. You know what? You're gonna get your first English wheel lesson.
All right.
See that thing there?
Yeah.
Put it in that thing over here.
Nothing over here.
And just like that, the student becomes the teacher. You know what your second lesson is?
What's that?
Don't put your fingers in that machine under any circumstances. Now, last time you were in the shop, you hurt your finger. We don't need a repeat of that. Ow! Voila. With this approach, you gotta be flexible. The key thing is just to make sure everything's symmetrical in the end. Yeah, I'd rather not cut it in half though. It's all about positioning with this nose. You know, I don't want it too pronounced and I don't want it to look like it's disappearing. Flip it back over. With your idea, show me it upside down now. What if you just stick that on top and we splice it back even more? Oh, I like that. Look at that. You know, it's gotta have the character you're looking for. If it doesn't have the character, it's not the car. Once you see it, you know it, and quickly move on. Take action and get what you're looking for. Whoa, now you're getting somewhere. Now with this machine, I can actually fuse steel together. You're gonna trip out. Last part of this equation is to see how the hood merges into the fenders.
So you're talking the fenders coming in here like this.
That way the hood's just a little cap on top. I use round rod on the edges of almost every panel simply because it gives the appearance of a rolled edge, but it's really strong. So when you're forming metal to it, you can weld it up and it doesn't distort. Cut me 2 of those and I'll work on this stuff. While my trusty assistant cuts out the sheet metal for the hood, I'll splice in the fenders and we're on our way. Like they say, old habits die hard, you know? We just took that piece of sheet metal that exists, flip it, slap it, put it in.
So just like a pancake, it got flipped.
Yes, exactly. I like that analogy.
Shoot, I could get a job working for the railroad tracks, clearing off rocks and debris with this thing. Man, you came in, cut up that caddy bumper, put the Buick bumper on that thing. It's almost like some crazy designer back in the 50s got pissed off at somebody and said, I'm gonna design a car. And that's your dream right there then, huh?
That's one of them. It was more like a nightmare, but that's what I wanted to see.
I was thinking maybe you were an angry child or something.
You know, there's a lot to be said for body language, right? Like you're saying something, but you're showing me more.
I'm gonna have nightmares about that thing. I'm gonna dream that this car's chasing me around.
You know, he's talking a good game, but I could see he's slowly moving towards a different approach.
There's no words to really describe it. It's mean. You have to see it to believe it.
That's a very eloquent way to put it. You'd have to see it to believe it.
Mean, cartoonish, classic, freaky, I guess, if you really want to get to the bottom of it. That's freak.
Perfect. That's what I was going for.
It tied in, you did it. You pulled it off. How? You know how, I don't, but you did it.
So far, it seems like Victor likes it. I haven't heard that dreaded word yet.
I think you got the coolest thing you've ever built yet.
What a relief. But since we're sharing it, I'm starting to think a little bit more inclusively, not so much what would Ian do. I mean, I did everything that I would have done had it been, you know, just up to me. If it was your dream car, you know, what would you want to see done different?
Well, now that you ask,
I gotta say, I asked for it, and here we go.
All we have to do is tie the front to the side to the back, and we're done. So they're just like, and it goes by and it's like, wow, what did Ian do now? As I'm looking at the side, them B-pillars gotta go. I just see one massive windshield. And then of course the skirts, these skirts gotta come up to here. I gotta mimic the two front Dagmars in the back. Wow, the car goes by and they're like looking all the way through it, like what the heck happened?
Well, I don't know what the heck just happened. Maybe I shouldn't ask your opinion. Now we're building a whole new thing.
It's a slight enhancement. I don't change anything.
If I'm understanding correctly, you know, the major change is that as the car goes by and people are going, wow, the biggest change is going to be the removal of these B-pillars.
All I'm doing is getting your concept, your dreams, and I'm just adding a little bit of salt, a little bit of ketchup.
My concept with including these B-pillars and radically redesigning the rear quarter windows was specifically for this old school look. The easiest thing to do would have been when we chopped it to just leave it open. It may not look like it, but this window is totally stretched. You know, like I say, like a 36 Ford where when they chop them too much and this becomes miniature?
Yeah.
That's what was about to happen here. And instead I did all this work to make this window really big. The more we talk about the custom look of the B-pillar, I think Victor might be coming around. I don't have a problem modifying it either way, but to me it just looks more old-fashioned.
You know what, I'm kind of agreeing with you now. It's easier to build it without a B-pillar than it is to do all this enhancement. So I think you did convince me then that we should probably keep that.
I wouldn't say that there's any right or wrong in this debate. I am for sure in favor of keeping this B-pillar. We'll see what happens after the car gets to Victor's house.
She's home, Ian, she's home.
Ball's back in your court, sir. I got all the heavy fabrication done.
I mean, she looks better in my garage than your garage. Look at that thing, it's even glowing.
This is where it's supposed to be, man. This is where the magic happens. Victor's excited, he's raring to go. I haven't seen him this ready in a while. That could be a good thing, or it could be trouble.
She's home and she knows she's gonna get a makeover.
Okay. I showed Victor the rear bumper and got him up to speed.
The theme is the same, so bullets in the front, as you're coming out, bullets in the back.
Well, in keeping with our context, we still don't have taillights, so that'll be a challenge. We can figure that out after you paint it.
The canvas is here. I mean, that'll make a grown man cry.
That's the thing, you don't want to see this coming down a dark alleyway at night, man. You get nightmares about it.
I mean, you definitely took it to the limit.
Yeah. Be a little tough coming up to a parking block. I can't even see the front of the car. I have no idea where this thing ends.
I don't know what it is about this garage. I mean, I'm starting to see things. I mean, visions of incredible enhancements that we could do.
There he goes with the E word again. I know, it was just a few subtle enhancements, right?
The way I see it now, she's happy. I could come out now in the middle of the night and just look at it. She might want to get changed a little.
We've gotten into trouble before on other projects with Victor's midnight envisioning process. I just want the project to go all the way, you know, all the way where, I don't know, but that's where we're headed.
Since the car's been here, I come out at night and I just like focus on it, really just taking the car in, absorbing it. What else could I do to enhance it? Since the front end of it is so powerful, I want to keep that theme throughout the whole car. The front end is crazy. In the back, looks good, but I need something that when you see it, like, here I am, I'm backing up, get out of my way.
Okay. Hey, regardless of my original plans, I'm open for collaboration. So, you know, sky's the limit, wherever this journey takes us.
And if you could see, I've been working on a couple bumpers. Now I have a rack for bumpers. That's sad.
You got a bumper rack? Yeah, you definitely got stuff. That was the deal, you know, the way that this Packard fit the Packard, it was pretty interesting. I just couldn't find another bumper with all these Cadillac parts you had, etc. Nothing seemed to wrap around quite like this Buick front bumper did. This is basically the same rabbit hole that I went down. We both love the idea, the way the original Packard wrapped around the sides. What's gonna look best on the back of the car? See what happens. That's how I work, just being open to the collaboration, you know, the value of what the car tells you it should have. I mean, I don't think you can stress that enough. That is Cal Worthington approved.
Stays with your same concept. We changed nothing but enhanced it, right?
I think it's a solid concept, man. See, because you got this huge flat surface, and that's exactly what the Cadillac has, this massive shelf. Of course, you know, you modify one thing, it seems most times you gotta modify everything else, the full custom domino effect. The one thing I noticed most in this rear bumper is the overall width. I think it's sticking out from the fenders a bit much, but Victor has another idea.
What if I started 1 inch back from here and then come out to 3 inches with this skirt? What do you think of that?
That really puts some hips on that car too, huh? I kind of read Victor's mind sometimes, and as soon as he mentioned these skirts, I'm thinking of the old little magazines with all the 50s customs. So I'm like, oh, well, if he's going for this, it's naturally gonna have this kind of vent shape in the front and taper down to the back like this.
That flows perfect. Massive in the front, the sides in hand, the back's in hand. That's a mock-up.
Yeah, no, it works. I called up Victor and I asked him to meet me at Gene Winfield's place with the car. Wow. You're usually the one saying wow. What happened?
What do you think?
I didn't realize you were already going into paint.
I got schedules.
Man, it looks freaking great. I had no idea. You know, Victor is a passionate man, and this car is way further along than I expected. He's got this monster green candy and all scuffed for a clear coat.
You caught me in the middle of it. I mean, I just painted it. We color sanded it. We're ready to play around with the car, and then you call me.
I know exactly what happened. You had one day off, so you went and painted the whole thing. I love it because we were always talking about like a monster or whatever, right? And what monster isn't green?
Yeah, it's a dark emerald green. At night, it's black.
Nice.
This is what it was.
It looks great, man. I had no idea green was going to be the color, but it's perfect.
I'm happy with the base coat, but it needs something out to change up the lines a little or to give it, I don't know what I need to do. That's why when you called and said bring it to Gene, hey, if I could get input
I got a surprise for you, man. I'm glad you were able to just throw it on the trailer in the middle of your operation. Finally, I'm gonna do something for you that you weren't expecting. Gonna throw a real curveball
cool.
at it. Let me introduce you to my friend. He paints cars.
Ian,
Good to see you.
how are you?
Gene's not just a friend, you know, he's always been more of a mentor, you know, someone who leads me into things that I wouldn't have done otherwise. This car's a really good example of that.
But now you molded in the trunk.
Uh-huh, yeah, we closed that off.
I love it.
Yeah, when you came out to the house, you gave me so many good ideas from the section and the chop and, you know, a couple little tricks about cutting the whole roof back. I mean, it really evolved because of your ideas.
Yeah, it looks great. The chop in the section is just good proportions. The lines are just absolutely beautiful. You did good.
Thank you, sir. You could literally say this guy has seen it all. So if he says this is a good shot, I'm like, yeah, sounds good, man, thanks.
He had this thing up for sale. And I said, there's no way I'm gonna let this gentleman sell this car. So I said, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, Gene was a huge part of this collaboration, so try not to pull favors a lot, but it's really more of an honor than a favor to, you know, get him involved with this paint job. You know, you made so much impact on the design of this thing. I was really hoping, you know, if you would, I mean, if you want to paint it, you know, like if you would do one of your fades or whatever you feel like, that would put a full stamp on this car.
I'm already getting ideas just by looking at it, and
nice.
And you bet I'm ready to go, and I'll put a beautiful blend on it.
I can't believe it. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Gene. It's like, hey, I never expected this today.
Well, he's not speechless, but at least I caught him off guard for once.
This is your canvas. You're Leonardo da Vinci. Do your thing.
Okay, well, let's get it off the trailer.
I mean, this is the next level treatment I was hoping for this car, you know? In Victor's words, we're taking it to the limit. I think everybody's gonna be surprised and satisfied. We just don't know where it's going until Gene puts his hand to it.
Well, what I like about this car is it's just a little bit different. As soon as I saw this car, I immediately started figuring out how I would paint it. Well, I'm gonna create a Winfield fade, so I'm gonna mix up some various colors so that I can blend the whole side all the way around. Painting cars keeps me young. Well, I'm 93 years old, and I've been painting cars ever since I was 15 years old. That works out to about 78 years. My latest slogan is, I'm just getting started. Each and every car that I paint, you know, I look at it and I study it for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then I immediately know in my mind what it's going to look like. It all looks pretty good. I got a good start. I'm going to come up in through here and make this, the total blend is going to be wider than what I have going right now. And then I'll keep playing with the colors until I like them. And so that's what I'm going to do now, is just make this wider. I like Ian's work, and I talk to people about it all over the world. What he's able to do is to create something from almost nothing. I'm very happy to work with Ian on some of these projects, and I think we're going to continue to do that in the future. It's a good combination. I think it's just beautiful. Oh, I'm over halfway there, yeah, but it's just not quite good enough for me yet. Brighten it up a little, I think it'll be all right.
Victor says he's got this project wrapped up, and I mean literally, it's wrapped up.
Ian, check it out. We got it finished up. All that hard work and effort leads to this moment.
Oh man, usually I'm the one saying that. Dropping that car off at Winfield's, you know, I said, do your thing. So as far as I know, Gene painted it, Victor got it back and handled all the final assembly. You never know what could have happened.
The reason why I covered it, I adjusted it slightly. Just sorry, it's my MO.
I mean, looking at it, it's the same proportions. It looks like the same fenders. Let's just, before I even check this out, you know, that we've had a few issues in the past. I just got 3 questions. The first one is, does it have taillights?
Yes.
Number 2, do we have a fuel filler?
Yes.
And is there room for a license plate?
Yes.
Then it's a win-win.
I'm really excited to let you see this thing. This is your dream car that you let me finish, and I did. and I hope you're happy with it.
That's quite a buildup. Shall we?
Let's do it. This is it. She might be a little dirty.
Oh, man.
This is your car right here, baby.
Oh, man, pulling this cover off, I mean, it's serious. It's nasty. Look at the color on this thing.
It's a Winfield fade.
Man, this is out of control. Now look at what you've done.
Normally, Ian calls me up and I'm walking in and wow, that's cool. This time we unveil the car, he looks at it and goes, wow, that's pretty cool. He was pleasantly surprised. I'm glad to see that.
I love the rims. The freaking treatment of the painted bumpers is next level. I didn't know what to expect. You know, they color matched the grille and bumpers to the body color. You know, tinted windows, incognito, limo style. I made up these bubble lenses for the headlights and the turn signals. I think it complements that whole really dark and mysterious look. It looks more organic, you know, like I love the cartoon stuff, so it's less car and more like cartoon. It's just like one unit.
With what you and Gene did, and all I did was enhance it.
Back bumper was a solid choice. He cut the thing apart probably 20 times till it finally fit. Not using the skirts gives it like a totally unique look too, like a road machine.
This don't need skirts. This is just like, get out of my way.
We ran into this taillight trouble on a few projects, but on this one, he nailed it.
There's the brake light. See, it works.
Congratulations on a job well done. Fit and finish, you know, nothing's unattended, and man, this interior falls right in with that.
I didn't try to go Gucci, but I try to just change things around.
Yeah, you finally got yourself out the hood, man. You legit.
Are you ready to take this thing and go and drive it now?
Yeah, man. It's been years in the making.
All right, Ian, let's do it here.
Oh, man. First turn of the key. Hopping in a car for the first time, this car's got some grunt. Brand new drivetrain. It felt really good. This thing sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, it fits the car. The car's a mean car. It's gotta look mean.
Winfield was always talking about this fade and, you know, how things look differently from dusk till dawn type of thing. And man, when you get this car out of the garage and into the sunlight, it really shows off. Yeah, you really feel like somebody driving this car.
It's almost like the Hulk.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. It's like a superhero car. Well, every car's got an attitude, right? And I think this one showcases all three of our ideas. A Winfield classic paint job, Victor's traditional lowrider, old school cruiser, and I got that crazy cartoon thing going. All three come together. It's a pretty unique vehicle. Wow. I gotta say, I've never seen one like it.